On a beautiful, hot afternoon in April, I went out to Flatwood Road in Greenwood to find out how to do potholes. It's a dirty job, but I learned a lot from the pothole crew of SCDOT and from Kevin McLaughlin and Ryan Ballantyne, also with SCDOT. Take a look. So this is the pothole crew that's out here today, Kevin?
Yes, it is. It's Scotty is our foreman. What's Scotty's last name?
Anderson.
Scotty Anderson, and his crew of what, 7?
We have a 5-person crew.
5. Okay. So, and they're getting ready to patch, and we'll just watch them. This, I guess, the hole's down here a little bit further. Got a blower to get the loose particles out of the hole, so that we don't patch over anything unstable.
Well, that's one of the biggest problems, isn't it? That you've got to make sure you get down to the bottom of it. Is that right, Ryan?
Yes, you want to clear out all the loose stone, any kind of bad base that you have under the roadway to get to something hard to build through.
Okay, so is that considered a pothole?
This?
Right here?
No, that's
Like
a travel lane.
Alligator?
Yeah, kind of alligator cracking.
Stand back, folks.
You know, kind of a dip in the end of it, so they're going to patch that too today. Whenever they set up like this too, or move along a road like Ryan was talking about earlier, we're not just going to hit that one little hole here and then go 3 miles up the road and hit another little hole we find. If they see stuff like this in their day,
right, they go ahead and fix it.
They're going to go ahead and fix it while they're here. So we can see what's going on right now is this apparatus I was talking about. The dump truck, of course, has got the rock in it, and that through a hopper is coming into the larger tube. A smaller tube there on the bottom takes the emulsion out of this tank on the left that we see, heats it. All this is heated, and the rock's heated, isn't it, Ryan? They heat the rock too out of the gun.
Yes, it does.
All that's heated and sprayed in place, and then worked level there with a rake. Now he's just spraying only emulsion on it now to give it kind of a little tack coat, to put a little more rock and emulsion on it.
So does that have 2 different like nozzles where it's coming out?
Yeah, rock and emulsion. They've taken care of that. That's a wheel path. What's caused this is a base failure below the surface. The base of the road is failing. Now this, what we're going to get to right here, is an obvious hole.
Well, now you talk about the base, and isn't this just temporarily does it? How long would a pothole patch last?
Well, hopefully a little while. It depends. This road.
Oh, what's a little while?
Yeah, I mean, it'll probably last a few years if we're fortunate.
Yeah, it kind of depends on the situation. If it's something like this where it's on the surface, generally it'll, pop out in a week or so. It just depends on where it's at.
Yeah, this road that we're on, we kind of didn't pick it strategically because of this, but it's a good road for us to talk about in that you see this patch, that's a full depth patch that we contracted out. This road is, and the base of it was never built to accommodate the heavy traffic that's on it. So in years past, we decided we're going to have to do something more than just our crew patching it. We let a contractor do full depth patching and if you ride up and down the road, you'll see a lot of these rectangular shaped,
right,
good surface miss asphalt patches, but they didn't just patch the surface. They dug down deep, 8 inches probably, and built up a patch. This road is also one that we've had trouble with patching and full depth patching for years, and it's been something that we would like to see resurfaced. Now,
and this is Flatwood. Is this Flatwood Road?
And fortunately, through an effort from the legislature last year, they gave $220 some odd million for secondary roads resurfacing last year, and it was allocated to the county transportation committees. Greenwood County Transportation Committee got like 3.6 million.
I think it was 3.2.
3.2 million out of that 200, and they chose a number of roads in Greenwood County to address with that money, and this is one of them that they picked. So fortunately, through that effort, we're going to get to resurface this road, and we won't just put asphalt on top of it because we know the base is poor. Well, the base was never really there. It was never really constructed with a base.
How old is this road?
Gosh, it's, we don't really know that. It was probably brought into the state system at I could research that and let you know, but the highway department was formed in the 20s. This road may have been there to the point where it probably was as a wagon trail or a horse trail, So it was probably brought into the system somewhere between the formation of the department and probably the 50s. Most of the roads came in kind of in that time frame. Now what we'll do when we resurface this road, because we know the base is poor, or again, it wasn't really ever constructed with a base, we'll do what's called a full depth reclamation to establish a base on this road and then put asphalt over it, whereby we'll chew up the asphalt and the dirt probably to 10 inches of depth or so, and then add cement to it in the process, add water, and that'll all harden and form a base, a real base for a road, and then we'll put asphalt on top of that. And hopefully what we'll end up with is a kind of a perpetual pavement base where we don't have to address that again, we don't have to do full depth patching again. But of course, over time, the surface course, the riding course, will, deteriorate just as asphalt always does over time, and we'll have to address that somewhere down the road. But in a well done and preserved through time, it could last 15, 20 years before we see it get in this kind of condition again.
All right.
I've said a lot. Any other questions? So you kind of right now, while they're in the area, they find, was that another hole or just another crack? So
all right, I do want to get over there and get a few pictures of me standing there with the guy doing this, so we can get
any
this.
tar on you, because that stuff won't come off.
I understand.
That's got to come off with gasoline. Right. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, how much does it cost to fill a pothole?
Well, again, what we were talking about earlier, we measure in tons what we accomplish. So we don't count potholes, and we don't have a way to give a greatly accurate number. But Ryan's done some ciphering on it, and what they've done today, what we've seen so far, they've addressed like 5 areas. And am I correct, Ryan? It probably cost us about $12 per each area that they've worked on today.
Yes, it just depends on the materials we use. We have a couple of different options when we do patch, but the reports I ran encompassed everything. So, roughly right around $12 per pothole.
But now to have a crew out here doing it, how much does it end up costing?
$12. That's with labor and equipment and everything factored in.
Wow. But that's like what, 10 or 15 minutes here? Is that how you figuring this?
Yeah, we have daily work reports that we put in every time we get our time and put our equipment, material, and everything in. So whenever we put that in, it factors in all the costs associated with it. So, you know, that's how we got the numbers.
We currently took our tonnage that we do a year, and we know basically what did we do? We figured out based on tonnage that you calculated for last year, and we knew that we come up with a number of like 20,000 potholes probably that's been done in Greenwood.
Yeah. 20,000 potholes?
And again, we don't have a way to say.
Roughly.
Yeah, so we were doing some, like I said, some ciphering on it. The best we could come up with, because we knew that would be kind of interesting, it was based upon how we measure things, and we did some math. So in Greenwood County last year, probably something on the order of 20,000 of these type of patches or holes were filled.
Roughly, we had $660 per ton to patch. That's how much it costs with labor, equipment, everything involved. We spent $230,000 on pothole patching last year, and we factored in 50 pounds being the average per pothole for material, and that's how we came up with 20,000. Did the math on it, so about 20,000 potholes, somewhere around in there.
But as we're talking about potholes and everything and fixing the roads, this is just temporary. We need a full-blown effort, not only here in Greenwood, but across the state. Is that right, Ryan?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you think? I mean, how long would it take? Here's just a hypothetical. How long would it take if they said, go out and do the roads, fix them all in perfect condition or, you know, in really good condition? How long would it take to do Greenwood County? Any idea?
I don't have I have an answer. One thing is, you know, we work to resurface these roads with our local contractors. They do the work. This crew that's doing the patching, you know, is a great crew of guys that comes out and patches. But when we have to get this road to good condition, then it's going to have to be resurfaced by contract. If Ryan had all the money that I could allow him to have to resurface every road that needs it in Greenwood County, the struggle is going to be the industry, the local industry, gearing up to accomplish this work when it hadn't been there for them before. So they're in a position to kindly do and support what the state has done traditionally year to year. Now they are seeing some more monies and seeing a lot of talk about more monies, and it's probably in their head that they need to be thinking about ramping up. But yet, if they don't get a something to really do some planning with, and not a non-recurring funding, but recurring funding, and they see it for a long period of time, then they could probably look at it, ramp it up, and accomplishing a lot more. But that would be the biggest struggle. If we had all the money that we needed and we put it out there to bid to the contractors and the amount of forces that they have now, we know that we don't have the structure in place to really accomplish it quickly. It would be years.
It would be years.
It wouldn't be 1 year, it'd be multiple.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how many potholes do you fill a week, just in a week? Just roughly. I mean, are you out there doing it every day, or?
I do have an answer to that question. I don't know how many potholes we fill a week.
Okay.
What we have is a patching crew. They're a dedicated patching crew. You know, if there are potholes on the roadways, which there are, we get calls every day. They are patching potholes. Now, what we'll do generally, you know, 5 days a week. They head out at 8 o'clock in the morning. They come back at 3:30 in the afternoon. And they're patching all day long. It depends on the materials, whether or not the emulsion and stuff. We get that delivered from a different county, whether their truck's down, equipment problems, during the flood, stuff like that, where we have other larger jobs where we need them, put somewhere else. Obviously, we'll have them there for a couple of days and we'll go back to patching. So it just kind of depends, but 5 days a week, they're out there patching. Yeah.
Another question is the waterfall, the rain that we had in October, did that affect the roads in Greenwood also?
Yes, we're still finding damage due to the floods. Probably once or twice a week we'll get a call about a washout somewhere on the side of the roadway. We've had to get trucks of dirt delivered since October because we're putting dirt out onto the side of the roads, filling washouts more than we're bringing in. It's been a difficult time trying to find the funding, trying to find the time, and to prioritize all the different work orders that do come in. Obviously if there's a hazard to the driving public, that's our first priority, and that's what we try to take care of. But I think at one time we had think nine roads closed during the floods due to water topping the roads, and ever since October we've been finding washouts all over the place. So we've been trying to address those as we go. We do have one designated crew that handles those type of work requests, and they've pretty much been handling those since October, and I don't think we're going to get caught up anytime soon, to be honest with you. So it's been an undertaking for everybody in Greenwood.
You know, and one of the other questions, I know that potholes actually are because of water, a lot of water damage, isn't it? Where a lot of it comes from, the water damage, and therefore the water getting underneath it. But also, doesn't it have to do with how the side banking and how the water can get underneath it?
Yes. There are a couple ways potholes happen. Once the pavement gets oxidized on top, it cracks. Water gets up underneath the base that way. Another way it happens is we'll have shoulders on the side of the roadway. We'll have high shoulders that are, obviously the shoulders over top of the edge of the roadway. The water will hold there, and as the water sits on the pavement, it's going to soak in eventually. Has the majority, water definitely plays a factor in it. Also, the amount of traffic that the road gets, Flatwood Road. It's not designed for all the truck traffic gets with Powell's Trash Service, stuff like that. Depends on the growth of the different places. And the type of vehicles that are on the roadway. It's a lot of contributing factors.
Once that water inundates the base or the pavement, and we have more potholes in the winter and spring because of freeze-thaw cycles, because when that water freezes, it expands, and then it thaws and contracts, and then it expands again and thaws and contracts, and that causes structural damage to the asphalt. And even in South Carolina, we have that struggle, but it's even more prevalent up north because of the temperatures.
Now, another thing is the public can turn in a form to see about road repairs. Is that right?
There are multiple ways that the public can contact us: online, work request system, phone calls. All our office numbers are online too at scdot.org, and just see a crew or know one of us, they can always let us know too. So there's lots of ways to get in touch. If they see a pothole, definitely get in touch with us. Or see some other type of hazard on the road or some concern about the roads, definitely get in touch with us.
And I guess really one of my last questions is, one of the things, because of the potholes, something that I think a lot of people don't know is the fact that if your car is damaged by a pothole, you can actually turn it into South Carolina DOT, correct?
Yes, ma'am. You can fill out a damage claim form for us, and turn it in. We do some research. If we have prior notice due to the pothole and we failed to take care of it, then the DOT will pay a certain portion of that back. Yeah.
Right.
Well, they'll pay for it fully. It just depends on the different situations.
Sure. And but you do need to keep your receipts, and it wouldn't be a bad idea to get a picture of where it was at, right?
Yes, we require pictures. We require 2 estimates, from a reputable body shop. If it's a windshield or something due to a rock, that's you have to get a windshield place to do the estimates, and that's pretty much it. Fill out the form to get some pictures and some estimates, and a copy of your driver's license, and we'll do the paperwork from there.
Wow. Well, this has been really fascinating to be out here today. I tell you what, it is Ryan Valentine, correct? And Steve McLaughlin, Kevin McLaughlin. We have really enjoyed learning more about the potholes, and I really hope that people will take notice and be safe out there. That's one of the big things, isn't it?
Certainly is. I'd like to stress that always. My crew's out here exposed to cars and traffic, and last week was National Work Zone Safety Awareness Week, and we'd like to certainly stress that when you're driving in work zones to pay attention, slow down, and allow these people to do their job in a safe place.
Well, this has been terrific, and I really appreciate you guys letting me use that. What was that machine I was on, so I can know the name of it?
It's called a Durapatcher.
A Durapatcher.
Yeah, it's basically rock and emulsion mixed in a gun, almost like, that shoots it out onto the pavement in these holes.
And I need to ask you, how did I do as far as doing my job today?
We're going to give you a grade.
A grade, okay.
Yeah, give you certainly helped out a lot, and we appreciate it.
Well, let's get a picture here, yeah.
The crew's already accomplished probably, 10 or 12 patches here that,
Well, we've been standing here talking.
And you're talking. So.
Of course, I did help out a lot in that little bit that I did, right?
Took care of that one right there.
All right, get a nice picture here. How about that? Whew. It's a dirty, hot job, but I certainly appreciate the knowledge that I gained about pothole repair, and do make sure when you're out on the road, slow down and watch out for the crews and yourself. I'm Anne Eller with WCRS Radio. A big thanks to SCDOT and to my photographer, Emerald Williams.